Mhm.
Welcome, those of you flooding on in. This is so exciting. Okay, can everybody see and hear me okay? Just before I start yapping. Awesome. Wowee. This is so exciting. I'm flipping out a little bit just because I know that this is going to be the biggest virtual ceremony that we've had yet. And that feels like really exciting and really big and really important. So thank you for joining in. I was wondering if I could keep my headphones out today. So is my audio all right for you, or is it a little bit far? Yeah, it's okay? Cool. I've got earrings on, so I didn't want to bang around. That would be irritating. So welcome, everybody. If you don't have your sacred space yet, please feel free to turn off the video for a few moments while you get set up and nice and cozy. Maybe light a candle, maybe burn some incense or some Palo Santo or whatever makes you feel like you're in a space that feels really good for you, because that is what you're here for. You're here to receive and to attune to a frequency that feels really good. For those of you that have worked with me, for those of you that know me, you know that I am all about things feeling as effortless and as graceful as possible. And so through these times of transition, let's use that word, as you know, the whole collective is going through something really big, I believe that those who are magnetized into my field are really here to anchor in that same frequency, that same belief that it can be done with effortlessness. And that doesn't mean avoiding the hard, avoiding the painful, or avoiding the so-called negative emotions that bring up the response we don't really want to have in our bodies. That means turning toward and using our tools to alchemize and transmute those feelings and to not run away or hide. However, I think there's a lot of responsibility we can take in discerning what energies we're bringing in to our own experience. So thank you for arriving here. If you feel like your head is somewhere else, maybe the day that you're yet to have, the day that you've had already, arrive. Let yourself arrive. That might mean closing your eyes and just dropping into your body for a few minutes. We're going to open the ceremony now, and I'm just looking at everybody's faces so I can really tune into all of you. Talia, so good to see your gorgeous face. Mandy's sitting out in the sun in the mountains. Yes. Oh my gosh. Alexis, Rachel, so good. So before we get started, I wanted to introduce to you a very dear friend of mine who we've actually never physically met, but you know how this works. I mean, so many of you are dear friends to me, and we haven't been physical in the 3D yet, but this is the beauty of the time we live in. Mian, who is live on the call, who, if you joined recently, you would have seen the email that I sent out. She's so generously offering her magic hands to give energy medicine to everybody that's present on the call. So as I said in the email, if you didn't see it, make sure you have water nearby. It's really important that you stay hydrated and that you drink a lot throughout the rest of your day. Just to lock in what she's shuffling about. I personally have had so many sessions with her, and she really supported me through a massive time of grief. So I'm very, very grateful to her magic and for being here today. So I'm going to unmute Mian just to share, just to say hello and share about what she's going to be doing, just so you know what to expect, perhaps now or afterwards, and then we will dive straight in. There we go, love.
Can you hear me okay? Okay, awesome. So hey folks, good to see all of you. So many beautiful faces. So basically what I'm going to be doing today for everybody is I'll be having a little powwow with your body from a distance. By using Reiki energy medicine and crystals, I'll be working on tuning into the collective energy within each of you, and then working on clearing out any stagnant energy that might be trapped within the body and the inner landscapes as a collective. The last time, I've done this several times with Emily, and I can just feel the blocks that are within the body by using a surrogate body. And I'll be able to tap and feel out where it needs to be cleared. And I'll be doing that. And everybody will feel it differently. But what the most important thing that this does, it helps your body's innate intelligence to rebuild and heal and realign back home to its true nature, to itself. We all have a life force energy within us, but what happens is when it's high times of emotions or of any kind, it can get stuck within us. So when that happens, it's important to be able to move that through. And that's something that I do, but you can also do it yourself. Like movement is very important, like dancing or something like that, that helps move the stuck energy from your systems. So everyone will see this work differently today. Some of you might feel tingles as I tap into different parts of the body. Like right now, I'm actually in the headspace. And then some of you might not feel it at all. Some of you might find your mouth very dry at the end of it. That's why Emily's saying that you have to drink a lot of water. So definitely keep that nearby. And usually that usually happens either throughout or at the very end. So I hope you guys get something out of this, and may peace fill all of us today.
Thank you, love. That was so well articulated. We used to co-facilitate virtual circles 2 years ago now, it was, which is wild. So I'm really excited to have her back in, and so curious for all of you to share your insights afterwards with both of us. So if you at any time, obviously during the meditation and the actual ceremony, it would be best to not have your phone out. But if at the end or right now you want to take a little picture for Instagram stories and tag us, and any insights that drop in afterward, that would be totally okay. So I am Spirited Seeker over on Instagram, and Mian is cultivate.alignment. So cultivate.alignment. Shall we sink in? Who has cacao? I'm so excited. Okay. So I'm going to follow the format that I experimented with last time, because that was a lot more close to home for me. And as a few of you may have noticed, I've been allowing myself to bring a little bit more of my freaky deaky and my light out on Instagram and through these ceremonies. And so I know that so many of you now are willing and kind of hungry for the language that I offer up. So thank you for that safe space. So I was trained to facilitate cacao ceremony with a shaman who's initiated from the Andean lineage. So there's a lot of cosmovision and cosmology involved in that, which is a reverence for the three worlds. So we have the upper world, the lower world, and the middle world, which is the 3D. So we're going to go through a little sequence that just honors those phases, and then round it out and just bring you out gently. So the whole intention for you, as I said, is to receive. You are the feminine. We are in a time where the feminine principle is coming back online very strongly, and it is our responsibility, I really believe, our sacred duty to harmonize the feminine principle within us, so that we can then show others how it's done. And what better medicine to guide us back to the feminine than cacao? So if you'd like to hold your cup up by your heart, you can close down your eyes while I talk for the next few minutes. Just a gentle introduction about cacao for those of you that haven't sat with me before, or perhaps this is a totally new thing for you. Cacao is considered a heart medicine. Now we're talking about the purest form of chocolate. The cacao that we know today in the West is the heavily processed and mass-produced version of cacao. So I'm sure if you're on this call and you're a female, you have had some kind of relationship with chocolate over your life, and that involves an emotional attachment, right? When we lean to chocolate, we're looking for something. We're looking for comfort, or to feel good, for pleasure, to not feel lonely, to not feel like we're wrong for having those emotions in a world that tells us, we shouldn't be. So in its purest form, consuming cacao allows us to come back into the heart space without judgment, without guilt, without shame, that so much of our relationship with chocolate has been charged with before. So cacao potentiates dopamine in the system, the pleasure hormone, which is why it makes us feel good, which is why we lean toward chocolate. So I want to break down that barrier of any shame or guilt or judgment on self for wanting this ingredient, because there is something in it very divine that wants us to feel pleasure, that wants us to feel good, which is why I think I've gravitated toward facilitating this medicine. So when we experience a release of dopamine in the system, we actually feel more empathy. There's a few other things that go on physiologically that then affect our emotional body. But this is a really big one, because when we feel empathy, we can no longer hate ourselves and hate others. And so it diminishes all of these walls of disconnection, of negative story, baggage, weights, and allows us to really feel. And instead of feeling to heal, I want you to adopt this concept that we're feeling to reveal more of our true selves. So you're not here to fix or complete. Some of you know my signature program is called Becoming, because this state of arrival from healing never actually exists. It's just a place of continual revealing, shedding the layers, experiencing more and more depth of ourselves. We are multi-dimensional creatures. And so let cacao take you there today. Even if you don't have a cup in your hand, we are invoking the spirit, the essence, the personality of cacaoian. She is warm, she's gentle, she's soft, she's savage. She is very, very feminine. So let her in. And when you feel ready to, if you haven't already, just close down your eyes. Taking in a big breath through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. Now remembering that you're on mute, so nobody else can hear you. If you need to make sound at any time, if you need to move around, if you need that exhalation to be audible, please feel free. I encourage that expression out of the cells. And just holding the cacao to your heart, or the essence, the idea, the energy of cacao there, by resting your palms on your heart space. And calling her in, and just allowing this soft, gentle, warm, golden light start to blanket you. It might fall from above or snake up around you from below. There is no right or wrong, just however she wants to cozy up with you. And so as you feel this golden light wrap you up, you're giving your nervous system now the sign that it is safe. It is safe to be, it is safe to relax. Most of all, it is safe to receive. And so with every single breath in and out, you're offering up this safety to your body. Offering rest and restoration, rejuvenation, recalibration to every cell. And with this golden light around you, you allow yourself to open a little bit more, to let the light in, to let the love in that is so patiently waiting just right there for you to open the door to it. And so now I want you to take one hand and place it on the floor beneath you. Perhaps you're sitting, so I'm putting my hand on the table. If you can though, please feel free to pop down your cacao or continue holding it to your heart and just press your hand, make contact with your version of the earth. And so before we sit, let's offer our reverence to Pachamama, to Mother Earth, to Gaia. to the planet that we stand on, we walk on, who provides literally everything we need, to a planet who knows in its most harmonic nature its abundance. And let's offer our thanks for all of the ways that she has held us, that she has given to us, offered to us through every breath of fresh air, of oxygen that beats our heart, expands our lungs, makes our eyes shine. To every tree that offers us that fresh life force energy. To the sacred waters, to the deserts, to the mountains that remind us to stand tall and strong in our power. Bringing to mind any sacred place to you. Perhaps it's your home, maybe it's a place where you feel most free and alive and connected in communion to nature. Bring that place to mind and offer your thanks. Don't just intellectually say thank you. Cultivate a sense of gratitude from the deepest well of you. Thank you. Thank you for always being there for me to fall on if I can't stand by myself. Thank you for offering the grounding amidst the chaos or anxiety or overwhelm. Thank you for reminding us of our power, of our cycles and seasons as women. Thank you for always knowing what is best for us, even if it seems like a disaster or a catastrophe or a crisis. You know, and we trust you. Just offering now any further prayer that you want to give through words, through breath, through movement. Maybe you want to lay your forehead on the ground just gently for a moment. And if it feels a little uncomfy or a little awkward, then lean into that. Play with whatever arises for you as your work for today, your play. Pachamama, we bow to you, we offer our reverence, we thank you, and we trust you. And then bringing your other hand to the cup, taking one big sip on your cacao, drinking her in, letting the medicine dance within your system. And now offering that hand to ourselves. You might like to just simply rest the cacao at your chest and hold the other hand over the top, or perhaps rest it on your belly, your solar plexus, or your womb space, whatever feels like it needs your contact today. To the 3D, to this physical life, to all our relations, to the animal kingdom, the messengers and medicine we receive through the totems, the symbols of all of those that are in constant communication with us. For our people, our humans, the ones that love us so much, that guide us home to ourselves. Perhaps it is the people that confuse us the most, trigger us the most. Let's call them into this space and offer our love, thanks, and compassion for them, for raising their hand and doing what they needed to do to drive us back home to our hearts. May we call in our friends and family, all of the people that have inspired us, living or dead. Bring them into your space. Allow yourself to be truly held by a support system. Faraway friends, people on this call, feel the golden thread connect us all. Offering your reverence to the ancestors, all of those that have come before, guiding us, leading us. Offering our deepest acknowledgement now to the original peoples, the original custodians of whatever land we currently rest on, and all of the lands that we have ever set foot on. The traditional owners, we thank you for the way that you have looked after the land, the waters, the animals, the creatures, and left behind a trail of codes of Indigenous wisdom for us to someday return to. Thank you. Thank you to our own physical bodies now, turning this attention all the way in with every person, ancestor, guide, support system, family member, friend surrounding you, everybody on this call. Now around you in a big circle in your visual, your mind's eye, feeling that support. Allow yourself to sink into it. And then turning this love back onto yourself. In the Andes, there is this beautiful concept, this word that holds volumes called Aini, which in its most simplest form means sacred reciprocity. Whatever you give, you receive, and whatever you receive, you also give. And so be generous with your giving so that you can be really generous in your receiving now, with the attention back on your sweet body. Thank you for beating my heart, keeping my pulse strong, growing my hair, smiling my smile, doing all of these things involuntary without me even having to ask or direct you. You love me that much that all I have to think about is what I choose to focus on. And so for right now, I'm choosing to harness all of my focus to give my deepest gratitude to you, body. My cosmic meat suit that houses the truth of who I really am while I am here walking this planet. Each limb, each scar, each hair, each pore tells a story. And when I just for a moment drop the conditioning that you should be different from what you are, that you should be bigger or smaller, darker or lighter, may I see you for what you really are. A house of trillions and trillions of cells made from the very makeup of the cosmos. The star stuff that I have come to Earth with is what you are reminding me of now. That you are ever changeable, breathing with me, moving with me, and responding to my every emotion and my every thought. Just for a moment, I want you to get curious now. If I were to hold only a frequency of love, what might you respond? If I set down all of the weight, all of the baggage, all of the story that you should be different and simply accepted what you were in order for me to come home to my heart, what might happen then? Taking a few deep breaths in and out, exhaling any extra energy that you need to release, to purge, to leave here on the table. Thanking your body, offering one last prayer or phrase or affirmation, whatever feels good for you. Do that now. And then taking both hands firmly around your cup, take another sip of your cacao. And then finally, lifting one hand up to the sky, palm facing up. Cup of cacao rests on your heart space. You're feeling dropped in, tuned in, grounded. Notice if there's anywhere in your body you feel tension and send your life force there. Finally, to the celestial ones, the ones that are unseen, the mysterious forces that orchestrate so much of the magic that I know is real and present in my life. To my spirited support system, my cosmic council, every guide, angel, light being, whoever that has ever made themselves known to me. Even if I was just a child, I call you in now and thank you for your guidance, for every step that you have led me closer to my own light, to the infinite space above and all that everything is made up of, the universe that is continually expanding. Feel that spaciousness now. Feel above your hand that ever infinite presence of expansion. And if this is what the universe is doing, don't you think it makes sense that this is what we are here to do too? Thank you to the sun who burns so brightly, warms my skin. Thank you to the moon, Mama Kia, for teaching me my cycles and how we are pulled by more than just this 3D, just this paradigm we are in, that there is something more for us to wonder about, for us to be a part of. Thank you to the stars. May every night I look up be a family reunion as I remember who I really am. Thank you to the awe and the wonder and the joy that you ignite just by looking up. You might even like to tilt your chin up now just to feel that physical response of looking upwards. To receive now any further guidance, any light, any energy, any life force that your guides, your spirited support system, that anyone here present for you wants to give you now. Thank you to all of the ways that I have non-believed in you, yet you're still showing up for me. Through intuitive nudges, through signs, through any connection that I have to the unseen and subtle realms. Thank you for not giving up on me, for loving me so much that you were patient in my homecoming, in my remembrance. Offering any final prayer now, a phrase that you'd like to speak, a wish you'd like to send into the ether. And with your breath, offering it up. Bringing the hand back to cup when you feel ready, taking your final sip of cacao. Just breathing deeply, letting all of that land and resonate in your body, your being. As you feel not only a heightened awareness of your physical, but your internal landscape, your subtle bodies, your energetic body, your emotional body, your auric field that goes all the way out, meters around you. Instead of tending to this fear of being bigger and taking up more space, it is important now for us to tune into this feeling of expansion. And once again, if we simply set that story down, that it's not safe to take up space, that it's not safe to be too much or too big, how does it really feel to take up more space? Just breathing that in, training your body now to remember this feeling of connection, of communion, of remembrance, of coming home. And trusting that whatever your process was today, whatever you felt, whatever arose, whatever memories came to mind, whatever blocks, whatever numbness, was all exactly as it should be. Relax into that trust. Bring a smile to your lips. And slowly bow your head in reverence to the medicine of cacao for bringing us back to the heart. From dropping from head, from intellectual back into the place where the feminine wants us to choose from, to breathe from, to speak from, to act from. And whenever you feel ready, just slowly blinking open your eyes, coming back to the room that you're in, but still holding this frequency of connection, communion to self and to other. Opened my eyes right on time. So beautiful, people. Thank you. It is past, and usually I say that these go for 30 minutes. So for any of you that do need to leave, that's totally fine. You can sneak out and just say your goodbyes energetically and close down this meeting. However, I do feel like I just want to leave it open for a few minutes and perhaps even just a little share. That's what feels good today. Instead of any questions or chat boxing, I would really love to invite perhaps 3 of you just to spend a couple of minutes, sharing what your experience of that was, what is resonating with you now, and what you're moving forward with. So in these spaces, we can typically tend to tell the story of who we were before ceremony, because our identity wants to hold on to that, wants to bring life to that. And so what I encourage you to do, which of course your experience is very real and very valid, but I'm encouraging you to bring to mind the story that you want to tell moving forward. What really shifted for you? What insight come up? What did you remember? So I'm just going to pop it on gallery view because I can see most of you then. Oh wow, we got 2 pages of people. This is so exciting. Thank you. So does anybody just want to pop their hand up so I can visually see you? Cool, we've got Lindsay. I'm just checking all the other screens. Anyone else, just so I can, set out the next few minutes. Oh, Laura's here too. Hey, gorgeous. All right, Linz, let's take it away. I'm going to unmute you and unpin myself. You know I love you. Please.
I laugh because I'm not usually the one to, I'm terrified of public speaking, actually. So
no longer.
Thank you for helping me with my voice. You brought me to tears, absolute tears, Emily. This was one of your most beautiful and touching, especially for me right now, thinking about it. Just in respect to what you asked, the days leading up to now, I was handling a lot of what's going on very easefully, feeling very grounded, present, and then these last couple of days, and I feel like it is because of the full moon coming up. It's for us in the States tomorrow. A big illumination of where I am hurting as a feminine was really brought out, and I did an anger burn yesterday. I am just working through just riding some waves. So this, what you brought me, tears that felt more not as a release, but tears in remembrance of the sanctuary. I love that you said, I think you said sanctuary. I just felt like I was in sanctuary thinking about Mama Ocean and Mama Earth, and then my on what is my story moving forward. So I'm going to end.
Did everybody else get to stay on the call just then? Was it just me that disappeared? Okay, good. Sorry, Lindsay, continue.
No, it's okay. Oh, you want me to go more?
Oh, I just missed the last minute, but that's okay if everybody else is pleased for that. I was like, oh no, I just lost 30 people. Thank you. I adore you. And I love hearing you share and speak. It just seems so natural in you. Anybody else that is afraid of being seen or heard? You know, I'm always up for the dare. Just raise your hand, even if it's like this. Like, "Oh, I don't wanna." Some of my dear friends that I know a little bit closer, I'm looking at you. One in particular that seems particularly uncomfortable right now. Talia, was that a maybe? Yes? Okay, let's do it. It was you who I was looking at, by the way. Did you feel that?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, that's beautiful.
Okay, perfect. So, oh, it feels so powerful to be here with all of these feminine women. I've been craving so much to be around women who are deeply in this embodiment work of living their experience in service to this time right now. What really shifted for me was I had been so in my head in the last week, 2 weeks of what can I do to show up? How can I be in service? But so much from a perspective of intellect and so much from the mind trying to figure out how to be speaking or sharing that thing that connects and that helps bring more awareness to what we need in this time. And it's just a remembering of we connect into our body and the language that our body is giving us and the planet and the sacredness of all of these things that you touched on, and remembering how much we let those things speak through us in service to us all, remembering what a gift it is to make things feel more sacred and make things feel honored the way that they should be. And so remembering that is, I don't have to try intellectually to speak something in service to the remembering of all of us. It's really just tuning into myself and tuning into the realness of my experience in the deep communion with everything around and within. And then what comes through is true and raw and ends up being of in more service than I could have intellectualized. So yes, anchoring, just remembering the feminine language of this planet in our body and letting that guide me and letting that speak through me. So thank you for that beautiful remembering. And thank you all for being here. So powerful.
Thank you, love. That was so perfect. I think you speak to such an important piece about the reclamation of the feminine principle in our external world and a larger paradigm. You know, the big stuff is that the new way, and for those of you on my Spirited Business Masterclass last weekend, I spoke to this of the new paradigm of productivity is inclusive of the feminine, because the masculine way, the toxic masculine way, has not been sustainable for us, obviously. You know, we're seeing a lot of things crumble and fall right now. And there's a big claiming of exactly what Talia shared, which is that our energetic signature, our emotional frequency, our vibration, whatever you want to call it, whatever language feels good for you, is the number one contribution that we can give to ourselves and to others. The number one. Right? What if we really knew that? What if you left this call today knowing that my vibration, my state of being, is the most powerful offering I can give? So what am I going to do about that before I take any action? What am I going to do about that before I show up on social media? What am I going to do about that before I make dinner for my kids, or go to the grocery store, or go to work, or deal with, you know, the stresses of daily life? If your energy, your emotional state of being, your frequency is hands down the biggest gift that you offer, it can also be the opposite of that. So Talia, thank you for bringing us to that that awareness that it's all about how we're feeling. We're feeling creatures for a reason. And we know, right, when we get into that slipstream of feeling good, shit just works. Like the unseen orchestration that I was talking about in ceremony, about, you know, all of these mysterious forces making things and reshuffling to support us, is when we're holding a frequency of being supported, of being held, of trust, of all of these beautiful notions that we intellectualize through the work of personal development or spirituality. But how often are you really tuning into them? And that takes a radical sense of responsibility to really own the power of that, because I wholeheartedly know and believe that it's the new way for making money. It's the new way to show up productively. It's the new way to share your expression and create, to show up as a parent or a friend. Energy first. Thank you, darling. So I have just one more person that's going to share before we close. So just another few minutes if you want to stay tuned, because my dear friend Mandy, you might follow her on Instagram. She's an incredible writer. He's going to share a prompt for us. But before she does, if anybody does need to go, I just wanted to give them that reminder that if you took a photo, please make sure you tag me on Instagram so I can see it. This is really important, just to feel that my work is landing and resonating. And also Instagram have started censoring me now that I'm swearing more. I don't know, it's really weird. So it just helps other people come into these spaces and these circles. So yeah, please invite a friend. I do this every single full moon. If this was your first, the replay goes up on YouTube if you can't join live. And I'm also holding a virtual retreat on April 17 American time with 2 other incredible women. And we're going to be going through shadow work, emotional alchemy, conscious creation, and optimized embodiment. It's going to be fucking phenomenal. So you can find all that info in the link in my bio over on Instagram or on my website. I just wanted to tell you about that in case you wanted to join me in a bit more of a immersive container than just these half an hour, 45-minute calls. All right, so I'm going to hand it over to Mandy.
Beautiful. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, a little bit of noise. I'm actually kind of right by the highway, which is a bit awkward. So the prompt that came to mind for me is by a very lovely writer and artist named, I believe you pronounce her name Mari Andrew. I follow her on Instagram as well. And she is a part of a project called the Isolation Journals, which you can also find online. But one of her prompts that I found really, really beautiful this week was having us write a travel journal entry from where you are right now. So whether that's in your room or your home or in a place that, you know, you've actually lived for a really long time, having you write in a sense that it's a travel entry kind of grounds you into the idea that everything is really, really different, and it draws parallels to how it feels to move abroad if you've ever lived somewhere else or lived somewhere really different. So yeah, that prompt that I would offer you is to really allow yourself to be listening to and aware of how different things are feeling, but maybe the similarities that you're also remembering, the moments that we've all kind of mentioned here about the things, the sacred spaces and everything that you're remembering within kind of the things that are different. And writing about anything in terms of any customs or norms or ways of being, or even the ways that people are dressing, everything that feels different and weird tending to that as if, you're somewhere new, because it kind of feels that way. So that's what came up for me. I don't know if that resonates with you, but if you give that a go, I'd be interested to see what you come up with.
How can we tell you, Mandy? Please share your Instagram handle.
This is new to me. Find me at Mandy Huser. It's my full name, so if you just type that in, it should be, oh, there it is. Thank you, Em.
She's brilliant. Her words take you on journeys, so I'm always a cheerleader. Thank you, darling. So good to see those mountains. Oh, I was meant to be in Canada right now, so seeing those mountains really called me home. Thank you, everyone. I'm sure you can see I'm like the sweatiest, hottest mess, because whenever I do any kind of this work, yes, I'm in the tropics as well, but honestly, it's like my body just like profusely purifies and purges for everyone else. So I hope we're all feeling clean and clear. Give me one facial expression actually to show me how you're feeling right now. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming and for tuning in and grounding in. I love you all. I'm so excited to have you back next time. And please touch base how that medicine unravels in you. It's so beautiful. Thank you, Mian. Let's all give our gratitude to sweet Mian for her medicine. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.